It is now started.
My screen says it's recording. Okay, as a preliminary matter, this is Steve Walker. I'll do a roll call to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. So when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Pete,
I hear you. Yes,
Jeff,
Here, and I can hear you.
that's good. I can hear me as well. And anticipated speakers or staff would be Joe. You can hear and see me, right?
I am here and I can hear you.
Excellent. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and may be broadcast over the Lunenburg Public Access channel. And this meeting of the Public Access Cable Committee is being conducted remotely. Town of Lunenburg, in response to the COVID-19, is currently following guidance from the Lunenburg Board of Health, Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and the CDC regarding the virus and steps communities can take to prevent the spread. And I don't know about that. Okay. In accordance with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, all public meetings are being conducted remotely. The order, which you can find posted on the town website and the COVID-19 information page through the town manager's webpage, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely as long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, Pacc is convening by Zoom as posted on the town's website. Please note this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share unless it's something we need for the meeting. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the meeting. So I will introduce each speaker as necessary. After they conclude, we'll go down the line of members. Please remember to mute your phone and computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, wait until the chair yields the floor. For items, if there are public comment, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. So moving to the agenda, that effectively completed the roll call. You haven't heard from Faith, right, Joe? Okay. Do we have any public comments from public, non-existent here, or from the committee members? Hearing none. Pete, would you, are the minutes reasonably concise? Would you actually be so kind as to read them?
Certainly,
Then we
I'm
can
glad
vote
to.
on them.
certainly.
Thank you.
March 1st, 2021, meeting called to order at 6:01. Members present: Steve Walker, Faith Beal, Pete Lincoln, Steve Archambault, excused Jeff Bako, non-members Joe McLaughlin. Public comments: need to review Pacc town meeting presentation. Review and approve meeting minutes, reviewed and approved March minutes as amended. Managers update. Financial reports were sent and received, no major issues. Renewed membership to the Mass Access. Ending February balance $759, $345 and 94 cents. Added PSAs from DA about various scams to our programming. Castus issues with Zoom meeting. Met with Castus, issues should now be resolved. Basketball is ended. Issues with broadcasting and looking into solutions in advance of broadcasting spring football games. Is that going on, Joe? Yeah, you're gonna do that? Good. Pacc approached by Boys and Girls Club to broadcast their fundraiser later in the year. Joe will send us the updated town procedure manual. Change in Pacc indirect costs or reduction due to not filling a proposed future position. Discussion evolved and research will begin to possibly fill the position. Pacc town meeting presentation. Reviewed and edited Pacc PowerPoint presentation for annual town meeting. Motion to accept Faith, seconded by Steve Ashambo, passed. Reviewed and edited proposed Pacc warrant. Motion to accept Steve Ashambo, seconded by Pete Lincoln, passed. Adjournment, next meeting, April 5th. Meeting adjourned at 6:54. Motion Pete, seconded Faith, passed. Respectively submitted Steve Ashambo, Pacc board member, March 1st, 21.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any comments or questions on the minutes?
No,
I believe you said we reviewed March minutes in there. If you
Yes.
did, it should be February, right?
Yes, it should be. Yeah.
So,
The only thing we amended was Jeff was left off the list.
oh,
That's all it was.
yeah.
Yeah, it should be, you're right, it should be February minutes.
So would someone care to make a motion to accept the minutes with a minor modification?
You're muted, Jeff.
Press the space bar.
sorry, I can't make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second,
Second,
any further discussion? It's kind of strange when there are only 3 people on the
that's
committee.
right. We better agree.
This is true. Okay, so moving right along, we have the review of last meeting's discussion. That's an item that was only on the agenda because we accidentally had a meeting that we thought we were allowed to, and actually we weren't. So it covered those bases. So I'll move on to the manager's report.
Okay, I will go through, first of all, just some activity throughout the month of March, and it's not in priority order, so stop me if you'd like to discuss any of these activities. First of all, we covered the Greenleaf Botanical hearing for Channel 8. It was the second hearing. We weren't able to record the first one, but we did get the second one, and that went up on YouTube and on Channel 8.
What meeting was that?
The Greenleaf Botanical hearing.
Green. Okay,
Okay. Secondly, we are expecting to do the town hall hybrid Zoom in-person and Zoom meetings coming up in April. I'm waiting for Ms. Lemieux to let me know when that's going to get started. And in that vein, I created instruction lists, an instruction guide for the videographers to conduct a hybrid meeting with Zoom and in person at Town Hall. Most videographers came to do the review with me. It was very productive. I just have 1 or 2 people that I need to review that with as well.
Have you done a dry run of that?
I wouldn't say a dry run. I created a Zoom meeting that we then broadcast on the on Channel 8, as well as cameras for live people.
Okay,
We didn't, I guess you could call it a dry run, but it wasn't an actual meeting going on.
oh no, that's what I meant. I meant a test run to make sure all the bits and pieces come together in the right order.
Yes, in fact, we had to order a new monitor for the computer that was going to Zoom, because we had purchased the computer months ago, but we didn't have an adequate monitor, so we ordered a new monitor, which was
Okay.
at a cost of $99.
Right.
Next was the water district meetings. A select person requested that we record the water district meetings, and the request also came through Heather Lemieux. So we started recording those. They're typically very short meetings. They're typically 4 p.m. in the afternoon every other week. but we did do the annual water district meeting on the 27th of March, and Kayla has been covering those and doing a fairly good job at it. So that's a new addition to,
And
Sure.
do we broadcast those or record and broadcast later? Or
Yes.
just, okay.
yes.
And the select person, whoever it might be, has she been able to access them?
I did not follow up on that.
Okay, so we've had no feedback.
No
Okay,
feedback.
okay, thank you.
Okay. We already talked about football games. The first football game we did was a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't available. I was on vacation. Everything was going well, except there was a power outage, which wiped the flash drive clean. So we did not get a recording. However, there was one last Friday, and it went really, really well.
Good. Yeah.
Scott Finnegan was shadowing John Dextrays on how to do the direction. Dan Seminator, who is a very valuable volunteer with us, got 2 announcers to announce the games.
Oh,
Great.
good,
That worked-
excellent.
That worked out really, really well.
Who won?
So that was really great. And we will be doing 2 more home games this Friday coming up and next Friday. I have last Friday's processing now, uploading to Castus, so that should be on by tonight. So that's going really, really well. Like I said, there's 2 more home games and then the rest are away games. So
There's only one other away game. There's
Oh,
just one.
right,
There's just
right.
one.
right. I mentioned the videographer training on the hybrid at Town Hall. I am considering and looking into hiring 2 new videographers. I'm not sure if one of our videographers is going to be able to do live meetings at Town Hall. She's very remote and is unable to get to Town Hall. So she's with us until we start going in person. And that's leaving us very short. So there's going to be a need for 2 more videographers. So I'm looking into that. Steve mentioned earlier before we started the meeting that there's a project being done by a Lunenburg High School student who wants to discuss with us how to get her project done with our assistance. I will be meeting with her tomorrow. Her project is on recycling, so I'll do whatever I can to help her through her project. While I was on vacation at the end of the month, Scott Finnegan covered my Castus administration, which is a lot of morning work and uploading work and just keeping track of what meetings were not broadcast that need to come in. Some daily programs that are done, our Democracy Now! Program, working with the other videographers, and he did a very, very good job. I did review it with him, and I also provided him with a rather lengthy instruction sheet. So he did a tremendous job, and I just want to shout out to him that it went very well. Eric Foster is training Kayla Reffett on doing interviews, and we're going to try to put together a couple of, or he's doing the work to put together a couple of interview kits so that we're ready to go out and interview, have the lighting available, have the microphones available, have a kit put together specifically for interviews. He sent me a list of equipment that we could consider purchasing, and I'm in the process of looking into that and getting the cost on that. We received some information through Mass Access that the Andover Public Access has gotten footage from the Battleship Cove. The name of the series is inside history. And it goes through different aspects of Battleship Cove, which was added to Channel 9 programming. I think that's all I have. Now that's just my activities. The reports that I sent out, the program analysis does not leave a lot to desire. We only added one program through another source, which was the Battleship Cove footage. So nothing much has changed there. We're at 28% locally produced programming. I'm hoping to increase that shortly, hopefully by the end of the fiscal year. As far as calendars, you can see what was done in March. I already mentioned the different things like the Water District meeting, the Greenleaf Botanicals hearing, and the Zoom, pardon me, the Zoom hybrid tests and so forth. So that was really most of March. Coming up in April, as I mentioned, we have the football, and of course, story time and talking baseball, which hasn't been scheduled for April as of yet. As far as financial, I had to go back to February to add in the Comcast quarterly payment, which was $48,593.05. That was in February. And the interest for February was $325.19.
Have we seen anything on subscriber counts yet?
No, we haven't. I think I promised.
Would you check with David or whoever it is? Because that would be good to have in my hip pocket, as it were.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, March, there was no outstanding expenses that I can see here. There were a couple of Amazon orders. One was for the monitor and the other was $89. And I don't have the information on, I don't have it on me, what that was for, but I can get that to you. So our expenses in March were over $5,000, leaving us with a balance at the end of March of $803,261.01.
Amazing precision. Thank you.
Yeah. And Karen should be transferring the I'm sorry, the indirect cost. She should be transferring the indirect cost that was not used in FY21, which will be $31,182.43 will go back into our revenue account.
But that's just a transfer. I mean, it's a paper thing, right?
Right. That will come up in April.
Yeah.
in finance.
Okay.
Is there any questions?
I have one small comment. While you were on vacation, there seemed to have been 2 power outages at the town hall, neither of which caused me to go there and fire the casters back up again.
Great.
So it all behaved correctly, but I was sitting here watching both the Unitil outage map and my televisions and things to see if it behaved so that I could have gone if necessary. So I'm happy to say Even though there were power outages, it behaved the way it's supposed to behave. So that's good.
Yep, terrific. Thanks for covering that for me.
By the way, I still have your town hall key.
Okay. And that's
And-
all I have.
Any questions or comments for Joe from the assembled masses?
Nope.
Okay. Hearing none. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
The TCP architect update. Right now, we really don't have anything because the building committee, TCP Building Reuse Committee, somewhat struggling with how to present information to the town meeting so a sensible decision is made. The difficulty at the moment is the 21 million or thereabouts, and they're trying to refine that number as well. To reuse TC Passios may end up being more than demolishing it and building a custom building in its place. But they're not chartered to do that at the moment. So the money required to make that full analysis has to go through the town meeting. So they're still trying to work that one out. So
Steve, I have a question.
congratulations.
Honestly, do you think that any action is going to be taken with the Pastios building in the near future?
No. In fact, I asked Heather about this because we had been for the past couple of years trying to manage accessibility for our capital fund to make sure that if we got our space, we could move promptly and start using it. And so I asked Heather if we had a snowball's chance in a hot oven of getting our new space in the next financial year. And right now she said no. So that's why we put our potential capital from 120,000 down to 30,000. So I don't know. I think at some time we might want our own little workshop, which I'd prefer to do with the full committee, and say, look, this is not coming together sensibly, and we really need a new studio. But we also have to be very careful to manage what it'll cost us if we do our own space. So we're between a rock and a hard place, sadly, but I would love to have that discussion, Pete.
I'm just asking because years ago, we considered being over in the Ritter building.
Yeah.
That was our original plan when we first started Pacc. And there's a lot of space there to do a studio. If this is just going to go on for another decade,
Right.
we might consider that.
We might actually want to wait until the town meeting, which is only what a month away, and see what the town says about doing it. We seem to be considered an important part of the combined government Pacc and education building. If they built a new one and we're still part of it, then at least we can have a 15-foot ceiling, I suspect, which
Oh, that's right.
really tremendously help us. If we tried to go into the Ritter building as they did whatever they did, I think we would end up having to pay all the utilities and everything for the Ritter building.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure that makes sense with the kind of budget we're trying to work with. But I'm happy you bring it up. Actually, Jeff, why don't you put it on the agenda, please, for next month? Assuming it's
Like
after
new studio
just
space or
good discussion on new studio options.
discussion
something
on
like
new
that.
studio options. Okay.
Just so that it's there, it's open, and we can. And if anyone has any bright ideas, please bring them, because I don't at the moment.
Well, I'm sorry to be negative, but I just have the sense with the current administration, we aren't top priority.
Current administration being
Selectmen.
I'm happy to say that all the discussions I've attended for the TCP reuse Also, what's his for Davis? Well, I've forgotten the name. Who's the selectman who's on that committee? Do you remember, Joe?
Who was on the TC Passios committee?
Yeah, this
Michael
one of the.
Ray.
Michael Ray Jeffries.
Oh,
Michael
that's
Ray
right.
Jeffries.
Jeffries, right. He has constantly brought up the fact that Pacc needs to be right in the middle of this, and I'm seriously
that.
encouraged by that. But I agree with you. We have to be aware and we have to manage carefully to make sure we're not left by the wayside, which we were by the original building committee. We got snuck in at the very last minute because we almost weren't there. So, I'm actually encouraged by his raising it. Jeff, sorry, were you trying to say something? Oh, well, that's sad. But okay.
What's the street you used to live on?
I was, but you answered my thought.
Oh, okay. So we're way ahead of you.
What?
Sorry, Pete, were you bringing in refreshments for us or something?
No, I was just going to ask Jeff if he lives on Charlton Street.
I do.
My wife used to live on the Fitchburg side of that street that's where she grew up.
And you got her out, huh?
Yeah.
Is that
It's pretty-
street separated
street.
by the town line?
It's a street that's exactly.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
The west side is in Fitchburg and the east side is in Lunenburg.
Oh, it's better than being the other way around. That would get very confusing. So, okay, anyone have anything else appropriate to bring up? If not, I have a glass of single malt with my name on it, and I would entertain a motion to.
You need to change to something else, Steve.
No, I don't. It's really good stuff.
Vary your repas.
Being recorded.
I know. So the next meeting is May the 3rd, which is actually 2 days after the town meeting. So I'm entertaining a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Jeff, second.
Sorry, I was typing. Yeah, second.
No discussion. All those in favor.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you all. See you on the, well, maybe see some of you at the town meeting. So
Have a good night.
take care, all of you. Thanks very much.
I shut this off.